When she said it, she didn't even flinch. No hesitation. No shame. Just those casual words, spoken as though they meant nothing. I'm spending the weekend on a healing retreat with my male best friend. I stared at her, trying to process it. My fiancée, the woman I was building a life with, the woman whose laughter had carried me through storms, the woman I thought was mine. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I didn't beg her to reconsider. Instead, I smiled faintly and said, "Enjoy." Because in that moment, something inside me broke, not with noise, but with silence. We had been renovating the house together, pouring our time, money, and dreams into it. Fresh paint on the walls, new fixtures in the kitchen, late nights picking tiles and arguing over color swatches. To her, it was our future. To me, it was proof that commitment was real. But her words at night made everything crystal clear. The healing retreat wasn't about self-discovery or spirituality. It was an excuse, a thin veil over something she didn't even bother to hide anymore. For weeks, I had ignored the signs. The late-night texts, the lingering hugs with him, the inside jokes that excluded me. She always defended it with the same phrase. "He's just my best friend. You're being insecure." But now, she wasn't even trying. When she left that Friday morning with her weekend bag slung over her shoulder, I watched her car disappear down the street. And instead of drowning in anger, I felt a strange calm. I already knew what I needed to do. By noon, I had signed papers. The house we were renovating, the house she thought was hers as much as mine, was sold. Quietly, legally, completely. The buyer had been lined up weeks earlier. I had anticipated this moment, prepared for it, though I hadn't admitted it to myself until now. When I walked back through the empty rooms, the walls echoed. The laughter we once shared there had vanished. The future she had painted in her mind was gone. All that remained was the truth, sharp and unrelenting. I left the paperwork on the kitchen table, neat and undeniable, every signature in black ink, every detail final. And beside it, I left her ring. No note, no explanation, just silence. Because sometimes silence is louder than any confrontation. That evening, while she was posting smiling selfies with him from their retreat, I packed the last of my belongings and drove away. Not out of rage, not out of desperation, but with the steady certainty of a man who knows he deserves more. Days later, the call started. First confusion, then anger, then desperation. She came back from her weekend getaway to find an empty house and papers waiting for her. Her voicemails cracked with tears. "We can talk about this. It wasn't what you think. Please don't do this." But it was exactly what I thought. And no, I didn't need to do anything more. She had already done enough. Friends and family reached out, shocked. Some defended her. Some admitted they had suspected it all along. But none of it mattered, because the truth wasn't in their words. It was in her actions. She had chosen him, even if she never had the courage to say it outright. Weeks turned into months. I rebuilt my life, not with bitterness, but with resolve. The money from the house became the seed for a new beginning. My days grew fuller, lighter, free from the weight of doubt and betrayal. And her? I heard pieces of her story trickle back. He never committed to her. The best friend wasn't looking for forever. He was looking for fun. When the truth of her choices caught up to her, she was left alone, staring at the ruins of a life she had thrown away for something temporary. Sometimes I wonder if she ever goes back to that empty kitchen, to the table where I left the papers. If she sees the silence I left behind, heavier than any angry words I could have spoken. But I don't dwell on it, because betrayal doesn't define me. It defines a betrayer. I gave her trust. She gave me excuses. I gave her love. She gave me lies. And in the end, I gave her freedom. The kind of freedom she never expected. The kind of freedom that comes when you walk away without a word, leaving nothing behind but the truth they cannot escape.